Hello food lovers, welcome back to my channel. This is Tony. Today I'm doing a review of a dinner I had at Lawry Prime Rib House, located on the third floor of the Galleria, 9 Queens Road in central Hong Kong. It is a throwback type restaurant. They do have a dress code, no sleeveless tops or shorts or open face footwear for gentlemen on weekdays. And then shorts are accepted, but no sleeveless tops or open footwear on weekends or public holidays. But not excessively formal, but it is a kind of a throwback restaurant. It started off in Chicago, so more about that a little bit later. But I have the Ode to the Jewels of the Sea set menu, which is for 2 people, and it's $1,688. You divide by about 6 if you want the Canadian dollar equivalent, or 8 if you want the US dollar equivalent. So a little bit more than $200 Canadian, and about just a little bit under the $200 American for 2 people. That's not too bad. What you get is you get to start with fresh shucked oysters, each 1 person, and then you get a choice of either their spinning bowl salad or a slow cooked abalone. Then the soup, you get either cream of mushroom or a lobster bisque, which you can have for an additional $78. You get a lime sorbet as a palate cleanser, and then you get the choice for your entree of prime rib or a pan-fried garupa and Atlantic lobster. And then for dessert, you get a mini Grand Marnier souffle, and then coffee and tea. So pretty good deal, I think. This shows a little bit about their story. It started off as a franchise in Chicago and then had some other premises in America. And they're famous for their you'll see that sometimes sold in groceries or other chains, like this the seasoning, the Lawry's seasoning. This is the restaurant that it comes from. And they have plenty of that in their restaurants also. You can spread on all types of things. This is a video showing the dining room. You see it's nice and throwback with all these couches and red. So it's quite attractive. So this is the first course. Each person gets, it's a dinner for 2, so each person gets 1 oyster. They're huge. They were okay, but they were huge oysters, so very impressive. And what I'll say about the whole setting, everything about the place, it's kind of upper end. It's done correctly, but it's kind of where it's lacking is just the service standard, the wine service. And I found that in general in Hong Kong this time, there doesn't seem like they're ready for tourists. It's kind of weird whether they're depressed or what's happening, but the service is very lackadaisical, and there's not a lot of knowledge. So they do, like, everything looks good on the surface, the big portions, everything is, but they just lacking the service standard to go with the fine food and the fine dining experience and the whole place, the atmosphere. So for the first course, I chose the slow cooked abalone on a shell in seafood stock. And again, wonderful presentation, large size abalone. It was okay. It was again large, so it's really impressive in terms of that. But the taste was, I would say, mediocre. And again, everything about, for instance, we ordered wine, and a lot of the wines that we ordered, they, really weren't familiar with it. Maybe it was late at night. They didn't have a sommelier there. And even when we ordered the wine, a lot of them, which I didn't know, in Hong Kong, maybe they don't even have the wine, or the wine list isn't updated frequently. So it's got all the, on the surface, looks like a fine dining experience. And it's almost like one of these that is trying to give this westernized experience to people that actually don't go out to Western restaurants that much, and just gives you that feel, but they don't come up with that service, and it's kind of a little disappointing. I only got a picture of the prime rib, and so it's quite a lot. It's quite big. It's impressive. It's got their your Yorkshire pudding, your mashed potatoes, some creamy corn that you can get on there. And I spent most of the rest of the time kind of distracted with the wine service. I was trying to get wine. They didn't have that wine. the wines on the list weren't the correct vintages. I had to go over to the wine cellar to see what they had. When I found some things I liked, they didn't have a pricing for it. So it was very awkward in terms of for a fine dining restaurant. And so not a lot of wine knowledge. Maybe it was late at night, but it was just not conducive to a fine dining experience. And this is their trolley that shows the meat. Again, very, very impressive. They could do so much more. But again, the person that comes out to cut it, I'm trying to take a video of it and he blocks my view. And they don't do it quite correct. There's no elegance in it. It's like, just cutting salami. It's just really, kind of disappointing. They could do so much more if the staff were trained correctly and they brought up the service standard. So I'm gonna unfortunately have to give it a not recommend. I think it's got great value. It could be so much more. The pricing is pretty good. The size of the meal is very good, but it's just it almost feels like they're trying to bring a westernized experience to people that actually don't go out to Western restaurants very much, and kind of just giving them that classiness when they're not really providing high-end service at all. So in comparison, we have a restaurant called Highs here. It would outclass Lawry's by tenfold, and they really would have. It's just not a totally different experience. So unfortunately, I'm gonna say a not recommend to this, and hopefully next time when I visit them, their service standard will be way better. Until next time, happy eating.